This is the Zhiyun Weebill 3. I did a review on it recently, you can check it out here, so if you want to know all the details, how it works, what it does, you can check it out in that film. The DJI RS3 Pro over there is an excellent gimbal. I've used the DJI Ronin S, the RS2, and now the RS3 Pro, and I've loved every single one of them. I haven't really used any gimbals apart from that since recently. I got like Tech, and recently I got the Weebill 3. It's a compact gimbal, which quite happily takes the Sony a7 III with a GM lens, which is quite a heavy setup. Now the RS3 will take 4.5 kilograms of payload. This will take a little bit less, though there are no specifications anywhere telling you how much it can actually take, but it can actually happily take this with absolutely no problems. It'll balance out nicely, and I also use the transmission. It has a transmission system so you can see what you're doing on the screen of your phone. Now, I will be recording this test on the screen of my phone, so it's completely fair. This film is sponsored by Zhiyun, but I want to be 100% fair. So both the RS3 Pro and the Weebill 3 are going to have screen recordings, so there's not going to be any stabilization, post-stabilization going on, and you can judge for yourself which one you prefer. I've already done those tests, so I already know what they look like, and I'm really surprised that this tiny gimbal did what it did. Now, it is $340 cheaper than the RS3 Pro, so that is basically the first thing everybody looks at, like money. $529, $340 cheaper. And it basically does the same stuff. It also has a wrist, kind of rest, and a sling too, which helps you maneuver it and just get really smooth footage. So I did 3 tests. One walking behind Luke, and just not doing any crazy ninja walk, just basically walking behind him. So let's check that out. This is a pretty simple test. We have the Weebill 3 at the top. Both are very smooth when walking, and you don't see any visible wobble. What I'm going to do is add stabilization with Final Cut Pro and show you what the Weebill 3 looks like. And I got to tell you, for a payload of this size, it's really smooth. With a bit of stabilization, it's even better. Nothing to complain about here. Now, as you can see, both gimbals performed very nicely. The RS3 was done after, that's why it looks maybe a little bit darker. The battery on this, by the way, is 21 hours. The RS3 Pro is 12 hours, so you're getting almost twice as much battery life, and charging time is pretty similar, 1.5 hours and 2 hours charging. So, the amount of stuff you're getting, the bang for your buck from the Zhiyun Weebill 3 is really quite incredible. Now, we're going to check out a running one. Luke does have titanium in his body, by the way, so he has a specific run, as do I, but you didn't see my run. But I am running behind him, and you're going to see just how smooth these two gimbals are. Check this out. So let's run.
Okay, I biegniemy. No.
This is an interesting one, and you're going to see just how smooth each gimbal is. Watch this. Now let's drop a little bit of stabilization with Final Cut Pro, and let's have a look at full image. I mean, that is just about perfect. It's floating 100%. That's not bad, right? I mean, I am legging it behind him because he took off like a rocket. And you got to remember, both these gimbals weigh the same, so 1.1 kilograms. They're very similar in weight, though the RS3 Pro is a little bit larger. This is a bit more compact. But, basically they're pretty similar. They all have locking, axes, they have OLED screens, they have your joystick, they have transmission systems, they have tracking, follow modes, basically all the same. The Zhiyun does have a little light, which is pretty cool. So it's got a few little more bells and whistles, but basically right now gimbals are very similar. For the last test, which I know does interest a lot of people, I did tracking. They both have tracking via the app with the transmitter, so on your phone you can, draw a little box around somebody like I did with Luke and basically track them. So I walked, Again, no ninja walk, just being really normal, everyday human being, walking from the left around, getting a loop to turn around and go back. The RS3 was on 10 speed, this was on normal speed, and you could see, there is a point where if you get too close to somebody, the tracking will go crazy. You're probably wondering, Phil, you did all these tests when the sun was going down. Yeah, I did. I wanted to put these like in the worst case scenario. During sun and everything, they work fantastically. They do. But I wanted it to be a little bit darker. Luke was dressed in black, so, the situation was not easy for these guys to track. But have a look and let me know what you think. This is actually quite an interesting test. Let's get them tracked. Thanks for that, Jared. And let's start walking. Now, I'm trying to do exactly the same movement on both gimbals. So moving to the left, now moving to the right. What you're going to notice is when Luke turns now, both gimbals have trouble tracking him. And they get a little bit of, jerkiness. The thing with the DJI gimbal is that will only allow me to track the head, whereas the Weebill allows me to track the whole body, making the whole movement a lot smoother, and I don't really have to change the framing too much. Let's add a little bit of stabilization and have a look at the Weebill 3 a little bit closer. For a $529 gimbal, with a setup of a Sony a7 III and a GM lens, I have to be honest, it's pretty damn incredible. And with a bit of stabilization, you can see that even that turn wasn't too bad. Bottom line, both gimbals performed very nicely. What do you think? So as you see, $340 cheaper, it does an excellent job, and it's compact. I mean, for most people, a GM lens and the Sony a7 III or the a7 IV are what you need. That's all you're going to use. I mean, you're not going to put a red on this most of the time. You might put a red on the RS3 Pro because it is a slightly large gimbal and can take a larger payload. But for 99% of us out there, creators, YouTubers, filmmakers, small, doing vanity projects and stuff, this setup is fantastic. And this gimbal could handle it. And to be honest, it looked a little smoother on the Weebill 3. You can drop, some comments down below and let me know what you think, which one looked smoother. Anyway, if you have any questions, do drop them down below. If you did like my film and it helped you choose between these, because it's not about, the features, how they're built, because they're both built great. They both have similar features. It's about actually seeing what they can do visually. I mean, that's the whole bottom line here, isn't it? So, give my film a like if I did help you. Links down below to purchase either one of these. And, yeah, subscribe if you haven't. Gonna catch you guys soon.